Hey there, wonderful humans. Welcome back to Board Game Dads. My name is Anthony,
And my name is Eric.
and we are the Board Game Dads coming at you with our continuing summer block party, which features the 7 themes of summer. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, go back right now and watch our kickoff special video. It's going to tell you all about the 7 themes. But suffice to say that we've got lots of content, lots of games to talk about. In this one in particular is one that we've been looking forward to quite a bit because it is
Shark Week.
Shark Week. Dun, 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 dun,
In
dun,
case you
dun,
couldn't
dun.
tell.
Yeah. Exactly. So we've got a different theme every week, but this is a big one, man. This was, we circled this one on the calendar. Couldn't wait for this one. Right in the middle of Shark Week programming right now. Eric will get a little bit more into that in just a bit. But Eric, we also have at the very end of this block party a live show, right?
We
So
do have a live show.
we've got a homework assignment. What's the assignment for the viewers?
We want people to comment. Comment on the first video, second video, any of the videos, anything you want, whether it's about sharks or shark games or things that you like to do over the summer that we neglected to mention. Especially those things, because those are the questions we really want to be able to try and figure out some games for. But yeah, we want to hear all these comments and questions, and we're gonna answer them and talk about them and throw them up there live.
Yeah, that's going to be on. That's August 18th. So tune into that, and you can also chat with us live. We'll have the chat open as well. So, Eric, we're going to get a little bit into the rundown of how we're going to go over all these games. But before that, we do want to talk about why we're spotlighting Shark Week, and that's a big deal, right? So, give us a little bit of a background on the history of this event holiday.
So Shark Week is it's a whole week of shark-based programming, and it started in 1988, and I believe this is the 33rd year that they've been doing this full week. And I think the first year they had like 10 hours of original programming, and this year they've got like 45 hours of programming. And now a lot of that is also on Discovery Plus, the app, but you can get, I think, a free 7-day trial right now if you download it. So we're going to do that probably tomorrow, so we have a few extra days of Shark Week.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, it's really it's a very benevolent cause, right? It's originally it was started to correct people's misconceptions about sharks.
Right.
They're not just bloodthirsty eating machines, but based on the movie Jaws, there's a lot of that kind of thought going around for a little while.
Yeah, for sure.
So they did Shark Week to kind of change those misconceptions, and also, I mean, at this point, it's really to promote protecting sharks, because they're there's a lot of different types of sharks that are going extinct, but there's not as many sharks in the oceans as there used to be, and they're very, very important for the health of the ocean.
Yeah, they're the top of the the predatory line. They're the apex predators, so they in turn control the whole population of the oceans, and that's extremely important for the environment.
Yeah.
So, despite there being some of these informative shows over the years,
Right.
Shark Week has not been without criticism. A few years back, there was a documentary on finding the megalodon, which is an extinct shark that was, I don't know, a gazillion times bigger than the great white or something like that, right?
He was, or she was, a very, very large shark. I believe scientists say that they were maybe 66 feet long.
Wow.
A lot of that is guessing based on, there's no bones, right? It's just
right.
Some teeth, and they have to figure out how big the fish was.
But yeah, that show was kind of like leading, I guess, a little clickbaity, right? For lack of a better term.
I remember watching it, and I remember being extremely disappointed. And I was like, man, I can't believe Discovery sunk so low to put like a fictional show on Shark Week. Play this before Shark Week. Don't make this like the big thing.
Right.
Because I want to see sharks swimming in their natural environment. I don't want to see. It was entertaining. It was interesting, and I knew it wasn't real. There's probably some people out there that were like, "Oh wow, megalodon really exists." But yeah, it was disappointing that they they did that, and they put so much attention and effort into.
Yeah, because that was kind of like the main event that year, right? That was like
That was their
the big
first
show.
Sunday, the big show that they talked
Right,
about.
right. And then I think more recently, it might have only been like a couple years ago, they had a whole, race
Oh yeah,
between Olympic gold medalist Michael Phelps.
yeah.
Was he swimming against a great white, or was it another a mako? Maybe I forget.
I think it was a great. I don't know. I don't remember.
And so again, in your mind, you're like, oh, I wonder how they're going to do this, right? They're going to have like these, I don't know, side by side pools maybe or whatever. But it turns out that it was, just Michael Phelps swimming in a regular pool, and then a sort of computer simulation of a great white swimming next to him.
Yeah.
And again, it was.
It was a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they did the same thing with Mike Tyson, right? They promoted like, oh, Mike Tyson's going to fight Jaws.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure that's going to happen. It's not going to be another Michael Phelps fiasco, right? But still, you watch the episode, and you still get a lot of interesting facts and everything.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's not the way they always promote it.
Yeah, for sure. And there's also a bit of a rival shark event.
That's true.
That's on Nat Geo, right?
That is on National Geographic.
And what's that?
That's Shark Fest.
Fest, right?
So Shark Fest has only been around for the last 10 years or so.
Okay.
And they are just going head to head, competing with Shark Week. And this year they're 6 weeks long. So it started, I think, a week before Shark Week, and it ends in like another 4 weeks after the end of Shark Week. So they're pulling out all the stops, trying to pull some viewers in on
that's like way overcompensating. I mean, there can't be that much original programming. It's got to be so much repeats at that point.
Oh, it's definitely a lot of repeats. Even Shark Week, right? Because you can put it on pretty much any time right now.
Yeah.
Me and Melissa like to say, it's Shark Week. We don't need the remote.
Nice.
Turn on the TV all week long. You're not going to change the channel.
Right, right.
Sharks all the time. But yeah, so Shark Fest, again, they're also trying to promote conservation and protection of sharks. So again, it's a good cause. But most of the shows they play are shark attack shows, which is kind of counterproductive if you're trying to teach people, all these misconceptions that sharks aren't man-eating monsters, and all they see for like 6 hours straight when they watch Shark Fest is sharks eating people and reenactments of sharks eating people.
Right. Well, and especially if you have that many weeks of programming, you probably have a lot of older stuff on too. So there's probably a lot of older shows
of people getting attacked by sharks.
Right. So even though the focus now might be away from that, they probably have those shows on still.
Right. And then they have different actors that reenact the same. No, I don't know if that happens.
Okay.
Just so many shark attack shows.
Recast. All right, so are we ready to give a little bit of a breakdown of what we're doing here with the games?
I think so. We got a lot to get through, man. I think we got to power through this.
All right, so we basically, as usual, have a few honorable mentions that we'll go through real fast.
I would like to go ahead and throw out the fact that I got a land shark beer. So, I got my little shark bottle opener right there.
Wow, that was so smooth.
I know, it's like I opened it before by accident because I wanted to drink it before we started recording. It's amazing.
I immediately thought of Chevy Chase in Caddyshack when he's got all those like bottles around when he has the girl over and he pretends to open the champagne. He's like, whoa, like it was spilling, like it doesn't go anywhere. Anywho, so we got some honorable mentions, and then we're going to start off the list with the least sharky of the games, where there's some references to sharks, but it's more of like a piece of art and a very small thing. Then we've got a special kind of treat for you with a sort of special guest, not live, a pre-recorded video that's going to talk more about some shark games. We'll get into that later, along with some shark treats and some shark drinks and some shark trivia. And then we're going to finish off with a top 10. Those are going to be our major shark games. Yeah. The sharkier, the better.
Or that we have.
All right, so real quick before we get to even the honorable mentions, we've alluded to the fact that this is one of your favorite times of year. You've
Right.
got the shark balloon back there. You've got, I think, a stuffed shark over there in the back. Yeah,
Oh yeah, this guy's a little deflated. We've had him out since the beginning of Shark Fest, a couple
gotcha.
days before that, but still
Um,
hanging in.
but we've got the shark tree,
Oh, that's true. I got the shark tree right over here behind my shoulder.
and here it is. It's in all its glory.
Yeah, those are all our shark toys. We got about 30, 35 different species of shark on that tree right there. Well, or in and around the tree base
Right.
as well.
Well, that's so cool that you put the blue down so you can just kind of decorate around it, and it
Oh yeah.
still looks awesome. So
Yep.
not all of those have a
Only the
hole,
ones
right?
on the tree. There's only, I believe,
Okay,
five that go on the tree.
cool. Do you put any lights on that tree?
I don't. Not
Hmm.
for Shark Week.
Hmm.
It takes away from the sharks.
Yeah. At
Yeah.
night, though.
I don't have shark themed lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Moving on.
Anyhow. All right, so it's time to get to some honorable mentions.
Oh yeah, I do have
These,
stuffed sharks back here as well.
yes,
Even though his
yes.
dorsal fin is tired.
All right, so let's get on to our HMs here. These are, I believe, all games that we have not played, nor do we own, but we're going to talk about them extremely briefly because they do feature some sharks. So first up, we've got the Funkover strategy game. This particular Jaws set, but there's a whole boatload of these things, right?
Yeah, there's a lot. Now we have the Batman and the Harry Potter sets,
Mm-hmm.
and we haven't played them yet.
Right.
We will. Just haven't gotten the chance. But eventually, if we like the game, I'm going to get Jaws, and I'm going to get the Kool-Aid Man, and that's going to be my team, right? Because you get a team of two.
Okay.
So yeah, so Jaws and Kool-Aid Man, right? Because he's going to just look like a giant pitcher of blood anyway, next to a giant great white shark.
Oh no! Am I correct in assuming that does that shark figure like squirt water? Is that what that hole is in the middle of that mouth?
Oh, I have no idea.
I'm just noticing that now. This is maybe it doubles as a bath toy. We're not sure.
It could be the sunglasses.
All right, what's up next, Eric?
This game is called Shark Bite. I saw this at like maybe Walmart or Target or all of them, and it's a kids game. It's a gimmicky game. It's if you've ever done that activity with a kid where you're fishing with a magnet and trying to get the fish with the fishing rod. This is that. And here on the back of the box, you can see that you try to fish, you get a certain fish, and maybe the shark closes his mouth, and then you don't get the fish. So I never played it. I don't know that I'm gonna get it, but I saw it. It's got sharks on it, so I took a couple pictures.
Well, little Hermione here seems to be having a blast.
She does, but she also just got paid to be in that picture.
She probably got paid with a free copy of that game.
Oh man, I don't know.
All right, so
Probably
one more. Oh, look, there is a dino roll in this game though. That's pretty cool. I just noticed that too.
Oh yeah, probably tells you which fish to get.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 6 colors.
All right, last one here has a really awesome cover. I mean, this is like a poster right here.
Oh yeah.
This is from Upper Deck, who I don't really know if they've made any more games besides this one. To be
I think
honest,
they've made a few. They've had their hands in some game stuff.
yeah. Do you know anything about this one?
I know this is semi-cooperative, and I know that they used to sell it at Barnes & Noble because we would go there, we would look for it, and we would look at it and be like, oh, this looks cool. We looked at the back of the box, and the board looked okay.
Mm.
We never pulled the trigger. But they usually don't sell games at Barnes & Noble that are just utter garbage. So it's got to be, at the very least, a decent game.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, that's my recommendation.
Okay, fair enough.
At the very least.
All right, so that's our honorable mentions, and we're going to keep rolling here, kicking off the list. So we've got a total of 16 games on our list, which is unprecedented for Board Game Dads here. We usually get 4 to like 6, maybe 7 at the most with honorable mentions, right? So we've already done those. We're going to start off with our number 16 sharkiest game, or I guess this is the least sharkiest game, right?
Yeah,
On the list.
this one is a great game. I
Yes.
love Santa Monica. We recently did a video where I talked about Santa Monica, and I did a terrible job explaining it. So go watch that. Anyway, this is a Tableau building game, and there's some set collection in it, and there's a bunch of different ways to get points, and you're trying to score points. But in this picture right here, there's one card right in the middle that's got a shark fin in the water and a no swimming sign on the beach. That's it. That's all the sharks in this game. So if you play Santa Monica, you're going to get a great game with a card that might come up with a shark fin on it.
It might. It might. Yeah, great game. And again, we've talked about it before. We're not going to go too much into gameplay here, but great artwork, great summertime game for sure. All right. Next on to number 15, we've got the deck builder Abyss.
All right, so this is actually from the Leviathan expansion. So the base game Abyss is a great game. There's no sharks in it. Unless I missed a card, there's no sharks in it. It's got all these other types of sea creatures and sea creature people or whatever. No sharks. But this expansion, which is also a phenomenal expansion. And we have a Kraken expansion too. We don't even play with that anymore. This is real good. They have these cards where there are giant Leviathan-sized monsters, and they're all fictional, but they look like they got some sharks in their blood.
Yeah. They look like they could be a prehistoric type of, well, maybe a little more Cthulhu-ish. Terrifying nonetheless.
The game itself is it's got some set collection and some hand management and a little bit of push your luck and beautiful artwork, as you can see with and this is just the expansion, but the game itself looks absolutely amazing as well.
Yeah, I don't know that I've played this one. I know you do have it though. Have to check that one out. All right, moving on. We've got, who is this guy, Eric?
Oh, that is King Shark.
Not to be confused with the Shark King.
Not to be confused with the Shark King. That's King Shark. He's a DC supervillain. He is currently going to be in the Suicide Squad 2 movie. And I believe he was in either the Flash live action show or DC Legends of Tomorrow, or possibly both. I'm not really sure. But yeah, this is from the game HeroClix, which collectible card game with all the characters you could possibly think of in Marvel and DC, and
yeah, and then some.
Yeah, it's a combat game. You really got to know how to play to actually enjoy playing.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, and we've talked about this a good amount. You can check out our video for Superhero Day, where Eric and I go into mostly Eric, because he knows this game really well, a little more detail on how HeroClix plays.
Now, speaking of King Shark, he also appears in Dice Masters.
Look at him.
So same thing. It's literally just like the last guy. Now, again, these are fictional. Excuse me. And you can play this game, and there's a ton of characters, and one character is a shark. So if you don't own this guy or you don't like him, HeroClix and Dice Masters are not very sharky.
Right.
But if you do own him and you do like him, King Shark is a shark, and he's in this game. This is a bag builder. It's like a deck builder, but with dice in a bag.
The dice look cool for this guy, that's for sure. I like
yes, they do. They got some cool color, and it's got that shark fin. That's just a cool symbol.
So real quick, for both of these games, these are both like, you would buy these characters like separately, like as their own, like you just go buy King Shark.
You would buy some expansion packs and hope to get King Shark.
Okay.
Or you would go online to one of these companies that sells individuals, and you just buy, one of each different card of all the characters you want.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. So moving on from the obviously fictional to the complete opposite, really, which is a game called Planet that we've also mentioned on this channel before. This features one shark card, right, which is the Great White. He a lot of times gets most of the attention, top billing.
Right.
Thanks to Jaws mostly. This is would you call it a set collection game of sorts? But you're collecting the tiles, kind of, right?
It's a tile placement game.
But it's magnetic.
It's magnetic. It's a toy.
Yeah.
You're placing tiles down, trying to make certain habitats to attract certain animals that want. I forget what this is, but it looks like maybe like the largest ocean that's not next to mountain.
Right.
And if you have that, boom, you're going to attract the great white shark on that turn. And once you have the great white shark on your planet, nobody's going to steal them from you.
Gotcha.
But yeah, again, this is the only shark card in the whole game, so it's really not that sharky.
Yeah, no, definitely not. But a nice picture nonetheless. Speaking of pictures, and here is our granddaddy here.
Oof.
Look at that mouth.
Look at that beast.
Wow.
So now this is a picture from Andy Brandy Casagrande, who is like one of the top. I don't want to take away from the rest of the Shark Week crew, but he's one of the top guys. He's in a lot of stuff.
Oh, he's on like every show.
Yeah, he's on a lot of shows. And, he's the guy, he gets in the water with this video camera, and he's in there all the time, and he loves it. And, he's just full of knowledge. But yeah, so this is a picture that he took. I think he got this with maybe his GoPro or something. But yeah, he's a phenomenal photographer, and this is a crazy looking fish.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we've got one more here to round out our bottom 6, and we're going to move on to Aquatica.
All right, this game is a Tableau builder, engine builder, whatever you want to call it, and you're using cards to buy other location cards, or you're trying to capture location cards, and you're buying recruiting characters. And then they have this like 3-layered board where you're taking these locations and you're putting them in like this little slot, and depending on how far the card gets pushed in, you'll have something different that you have access to, some sort of at different depths, because on the side of the card you'll have different symbols. And it's a cool little, I don't want to call it a gimmick, but it's different, it's unique, it's something else that tweaks it a little bit. Now this game has, again, the one card right there in the middle, the Meg. So it's got the Megalodon featured, and then the rest of the cards around there all have sharks featured in the artwork, but aren't specific to sharks.
Right.
It's got more than one card. It's got a little bit going on. You see a little bit in the artwork, and so we got number 11.
There you go. So speaking of the Meg, and again, there's no actual footage, but this is as close as we get, thanks to Hollywood. Have you seen this movie, by the way?
I have seen this movie.
Okay, is it any good? I never saw it.
I love sharks, so it's cool.
Right.
But it is what it is. I'll watch it again.
Popcorn movie.
Yeah, it's got a giant shark that is clearly going to eat this person. I don't remember if this scene is even in the movie, but there's no way that thing is going to miss that person in the tube.
What's the guy's name? The actor in this one?
Jason Statham.
Right. Yeah.
I think there's one scene where he's like hanging on to a rope and a boat's, like pulling him, and he's like just barely not getting eaten by the mechanism onto the rope, and it's like, okay, yeah, that scene's coming.
Nice. All right, so we got our bottom 6. We are going to do a little bit of trivia here. I'm going to throw like maybe 3-4 questions at your way, and then we'll move on to our special pre-recorded guest. All right, so let me get my questions here. Hang on.
All right, let me get my thinking cap on.
Now, a lot of these I know Eric is going to know the answer to. I did find some that I think he might maybe stumble on a little bit. But Eric is a self-proclaimed, what did you call yourself?
I'm a sharktician.
Sharktician.
Yeah. So it's not a real thing, so I can't offend anybody by just claiming to be one, right? There's not a group of sharkticians out there that are like, who's this guy? He's full of crap. It's not a sharktician. So yeah, totally sharktician.
All right, so let's see how you do here. First question here I'm asking for 2 types of sharks that can live in fresh water as opposed to salt water.
Ooh, these are tough questions. All right, so the bull shark right off the bat. I don't know any names of the other sharks that I know not doing so well, right? Like there's a couple of them and they might be going extinct because of like pollution or people, or probably pollution from people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. River shark.
River shark, that's your guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an amazing guess because that's absolutely correct.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it's called. I mean, it was probably, if it's fresh water, right? So it would either be like a river shark or lake
I
shark.
honestly didn't even know that was a real shark. I figured they're going to be in a river instead of the lakes, right? Because they can get to a river.
That's true.
And, all right, I know that. So at pet stores, you can buy a rainbow shark. You can buy like a Baja shark. They're not sharks. They're just freshwater fish that somehow people call sharks.
Do they have like a dorsal fin?
I don't know. Probably. They probably have like that bottom jaw.
Gotcha. All right, so this one, I'm not even going to count this as a question. It's going to be like a lead in here. You probably know the biggest shark in the world.
The whale shark.
Whale shark. That's kind of an obvious one.
Biggest fish in the world.
Biggest fish in the world. So I'm looking now for the complete opposite. What is the world's smallest shark?
I'm going to say the pocket shark.
I don't know if that's a thing or not.
That is a thing.
Okay. Well, I don't know. My answer here is the dwarf lantern shark.
Okay. Yeah, that's not the same thing.
Not the same thing? Okay. All right. All right, so let's see. All right, I'm going to ask you one more, and then we'll go on to our next bit here. Along with all these other superlatives we've been doing, largest, smallest, how about the deepest water shark? So what type of shark has been found the deepest?
Huh. Wow, I don't know. That
I didn't know this one at all. Like,
maybe a frilled shark? Or like a blunt nose six gill?
You're throwing things out here that could be correct, unless they're called Portuguese shark.
No.
Okay.
I didn't even know that was a shark.
All right. Yeah. Well, all right. So there you go. That's round one. We'll be back with
50%?
Yeah. We'll be back with more trivia. You can get your score up a little bit there.
You have to.
All right. So before we get into our top 10, we've got a special pre-recorded video to show you all. This is from a good friend of ours, Evan Diesel. He is active on all the social medias for his board game content as well. You can also specifically see him on the Dice Tower's Favorite Game Friday. Every single week. Him and his son Grayson do a short video there. And also Grayson and Evan have also started their own YouTube channel and series where they're going through the alphabet from A to Z and naming their 3 favorite games from each letter. So that's currently going on. I believe they're maybe like on letter I or something like that. Yeah, so check that out. Yeah, right? So they're big fans of sharks as well, and we challenged them to come up with a list of their favorite shark games, and so they did. So we're going to treat you to that. And while that's going on, Eric and I are going to go get our Sharky treats and Sharky drinks ready for you. And we'll be back to show off some of those and talk about what Evan and Grayson had to say. So stay right there, enjoy the video, and we'll be back in a little bit.
Hey everybody, and welcome to this Shark Week celebration here on the Board Game Dad's channel. Grayson and I have scoured our collection and we found 10 great games that have shark representation. We figured out this mathematical scientific scale called the sharkiness scale. We plugged all these different numbers in there and we discovered that some shark games have a lot less representation than others. So we rated them on this scale and we're going to present them to you today, and I hope you enjoy them. So here we go. The one with the least amount of shark representation is what?
Lost Woods.
Lost Woods, yeah. Lost Woods is a tile-laying exploration type game where you're these kids lost in the woods and you got to find your way out. And you got to find your way out by getting all sorts of different like items, weird items, and fight all kinds of weird monsters. And one of the weird monsters that you can find is a street shark. And if you're a fan of 90s cartoons, you probably know what street sharks are. So this game only has one little tile that you may or may not find when you're playing the game. So I think it rates pretty low on the scale. What do we got for this one?
We got a 0.8.
0.8, yeah. I think the shark representation is extremely low. So next on our list is
Detective Club.
Detective Club. Yep. Detective Club is a like a social deduction type game where everybody but one person knows a word or a phrase or whatever, and there's all these different weird art cards, and you have to like figure out what that word is from what the cards are that people played. So everybody except one person knows, so the other person kind of has to fake it based on what the card they're played. And I looked through the whole deck, and I found 3 whole cards that have sharks on them, but the sharks are pretty low. The shark representation is pretty low on these. They're really small on these cards, so I think that dings it quite a bit. And it's not really about sharks. So what do we got a rating for this one, Grayson?
We got a 1.9.
1.9, yeah, pretty low. All right, so then what's next on the list?
Wreck Raiders.
Wreck Raiders, yeah. So Wreck Raiders is a super fun game where you're getting all these different points from building aquariums and deep sea diving and finding artifacts and sets of artifacts and building up all sorts of things. So when you're building an aquarium, there is, I believe, only 2 sharks in the game that you can add to your aquarium, which is pretty cool. And one's a hammerhead and one's, I don't know, some other kind of shark. And there's also a little mini expansion that has a shark in it and a little shark die. But I don't think you don't always have to use this when you're playing. And matter of fact, these might not always come up when you're playing. It's a super fun game, but the shark representation isn't the greatest. So what are we going to rate this one on the scale?
We got a 3.1.
3.1 on the scale. Not too bad, but definitely has a lot of room for going up. So what else we got?
We got Epic Spell Wars.
Epic Spell Wars, yeah. Epic Spell Wars is an adult-ish card game where you're building spells as wizards to like attack other characters, other players. It's a super take that game. But there's one spell that summons a land shark, and this land shark is super disgusting. If you can see him here, where he's like ripping apart. It's really bloody and really goofy. And there's a lot of like adult humor in this game, so he can't play this game. But still, there's a pretty cool bloody shark here ripping some dude apart. So I think that gets it an extra point.
Because the rating on the sharking scale is a 3.8.
3.8, not too bad for a whole game with a whole stack of cards and one shark in it. All right, what else we got, Grayson? What's next?
We got Dice Fishing.
Dice Fishing, yeah. Dice Fishing is a fun little import game where everybody has a handful of their colored dice, and you're bidding those dice to see if you can catch these fish. And you catch the fish by rolling different combos or different like numbers that are part of the combo, or all evens or all odds, or whatever the fish, whatever the card needs, the fish card needs. And there's a salmon shark in this game, and salmon sharks are kind of unusual. And the thing is, though, he's not always in the game. You don't use every card for every game. So we have a cat attack here. So I think being a salmon shark, which is an unusual type of shark, adds to the number. So what do we got for this one, Grayson?
We got a 5.2.
5.2. I think extra points for having an unusual shark, but still the shark itself is not a great part of the game. Okay, so what's next?
Garden Eel Go.
Garden Eel Go. All right, another interesting import game where you're simultaneously trying to catch eels from from 3 different rows of fishers, and generally you're trying to catch these eels and bring them up from the ocean or whatever. But if you get one that has a shark on it, it's gonna eat some of your eels. They're very tiny represented here on the bottom. And then when you get those eels, they turn into shark poop, which are negative points at the end of the game. So the shark is a big part of this game, but it's really tiny, and they all have the same shark icon. So not a huge amount of shark representation itself, but it's still an integral part of the game. So what do we give this one?
We got a 7.3.
7.3. Ooh, we're getting up there. That's a pretty high number.
The next one is King of New York.
King of New York, yeah. All right, so King of New York. Everybody knows King of New York and King of Tokyo, of course, where it's a dice rolling game where there's giant monsters attacking a city and each other inside this city. And one of the expansions for King of New York is a power-up expansion that has power cards, but he also comes with the Mega Shark. And the mega shark is a giant shark attacking the city, right? So even though he's in an expansion and you don't always use him, he's a giant shark attacking the city. So I think that earns him a lot of points and the game a lot of points for the sharkiness scale. So what are we going to give that one?
We got an 8.7.
8.7. We're getting up there. Okay, what's next on the list?
Smash Up.
Smash Up. All right. Everybody, does everybody know Smash Up? Anyway, Smash Up is a game where you're taking two different factions and you shuffle those factions together, and then how they work together to attack other players and capture these bases is kind of the brilliance of the game, is because there's so much variety. And of course, in one of the expansions, there is a shark expansion, and these sharks are represented. There's all sorts of different sharks here, shark cards that you can mix into your deck with another one. And in fact, there's even a tornado one, so you can make your own Sharknadoes. And then there's a fun card that says Week of Sharks, which is, of course, a Shark Week pun, I guess. Yeah. So I think this one's pretty good because you get a whole deck of sharks that you can attack your opponents with. What are we going to give this one?
A 9.1.
Wow, that's really high. But it can go higher. So what's next?
Survive.
Yeah, Survive. Of course, we're going to have Survive. Survive is a game where you're on an island and it's sinking. And in order to get off this island, you got to swim or use boats to get off. But then there's sharks in the waters, which of course you can't see here, but there's sharks in the water. So as people are swimming, other players can have those sharks come and eat your people. So sharks are a huge part of this game. Without the sharks in this game, there would be no game, because it's all about eating people with those sharks before they get off the island. What are we going to give this one, Grayson?
We have a 9.7.
Ooh, that's really high. But there's one game that's higher.
And
What would
that
that be?
game is Animal Upon Animal.
Not
Here we turn.
Yeah, not just Animal Upon Animal, but Animal Upon Animal, Here We Turn. And this one, it's just like every other Animal Upon Animal where you're stacking animals on a crocodile. But in this one you have a board. And the crocodile sits on the log in the middle of this board. And then there's a shark that spins around. So not only do you have to stack the animals up, but you also have to rotate this. And when you rotate this, that animal stack gets super duper wobbly. And they fall off all the time. And when they fall off into the water, they get eaten by the shark. So, yeah, it's not just the animals that are tumbling down, they're getting eaten. And that is number one on our list. So what did we give that one, Grayson?
A 10.
Big fat 10 out of 10 on the sharkiness scale. Remember, this was all super scientific. We used a lot of math formulas. It took a lot of time, a lot of thinking to how to get this to work. But I think it came out really great, and I hope everyone enjoyed watching this. I hope maybe you learned about some new games that have sharks in them that you did not know before. So I hope everybody has a happy Shark Week, and we'll see you next time.
All right, welcome back, folks. That was a very scientific list. The sharkiness scale, I think.
Yeah, we're going to steal that from here on out for the top 10. We're going to use the sharkiness scale.
I agree.
Although,
yeah,
I gotta just say that I totally disagree with one of the choices, which we'll hear later on our list. But one of the choices, I think they lowballed a little bit.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming it's not the dice fishing game, because I don't think you or I had ever heard of that game before.
Nope.
But that game does have
the salmon shark.
The salmon shark. All right, Eric. Why is it called the salmon shark? Please enlighten me.
I believe they are called salmon sharks because they large groups of them, which I think it's called a shiver of sharks, will gather around the mouths of rivers and eat salmon.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty good reason.
That's it.
All right, so we told you that in the interim we would be coming up with some sharky snacks and sharky drinks. Eric, do you have a sharky drink that you you plan on making for us live?
I do have a sharky drink.
All right. What do you got?
So originally I was going to make a shark attack. And so I practiced. Now I'm no mixologist, so I had to practice. And so I drank all the dark rum. so then I changed it up a little bit, and I only had and I was using coconut rum. So I added some pineapple juice, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do it, and I ran out of pineapple juice. So I don't even know. I'll figure out what I'm going to call this when I'm making it. But this is so I got some cherry rum.
Okay.
I haven't actually drank this yet, so I'm going to pour a little bit of that in there. And I'm going to pour a little bit of blue curacao because all good shark-looking drinks need to be nice and bright, bright blue, like the ocean. And I'm going to put some Sprite on top of that whole thing right there. And we'll see what that does. Maybe I'll give it a little mix. It's not that blue on top, right? Because of all the ice.
Yeah, it kind of looks like an iceberg.
Whatever, that's my drink. All right, so now the cool part of this is I had a few of these earlier. None of them came out the same, though. Where's my drop? Oh, all right. So I got some grenadine here.
Yeah.
A little bit. So I'm going to take a little dropper because I'm not skilled enough to just do it from the bottle. And I'm going to pour some of this in here. So it kind of looks like a little bit of blood.
Nice.
Water, which is actually the name of a drink that I think Josh Gates made last year in Shark Week, Blood in the Water. It probably looked just like this anyway. But who knows? Maybe this is called Blood in the Water. Right? So that's the drink. It's got a bunch of red stuff, red grenadine that drips down. And let me check it out, see what it tastes there.
All right, let me know.
It's sweet.
Too sweet?
I'm going to drink it.
Well, yeah. All right. I made my own earlier. I didn't want to do the mixing here because of the board game table and whatnot, but I did make the mistake. I have a lot of similar ingredients, but I did make the mistake of stirring after I put the grenadine in, which really takes away from the blue color.
Yeah.
But it does look kind of like a shark body color, I think, now. So I'm kind of okay with this, actually.
All right. How's it taste, though?
It tastes pretty good. So it's got, it does have coconut rum, and obviously it has the blue curacao. I put a little pineapple juice and a little grenadine and a little sparkling water, but like the pineapple coconut flavor seltzer. So that kind of like, layered good with the flavors, I think, in the drink overall.
Nice. Now I got one more special treat.
Yeah, buddy.
So my wife, who's amazing, made us cookies for Shark Week, and she made a whole tray of cookies, and they're all shaped like sharks. And not only that, cause, and again, she did most of this. I made like 2 or 3 sharks, and the most important thing that I did was I spilt the black food coloring all over the floor. We had to stop for like 20 minutes to clean everything. It's terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And it's like green because I was washing off my feet and the floor tile. It's more like a really dark green. It's got, it was awful. And then Melissa lost the will to make more cookies. This is what we got, though. This is what we got. So she made some, like this guy right here. I'm gonna hold it up to the screen. So this guy right here, she made a blue shark, which is one of my favorite sharks. I love the mako shark, but this blue shark is up there. She made a tiger shark. She made 2 tiger sharks. I ate the other one, and then I made this great white shark.
Nice.
It's okay. It's a little too dark. It looks more like a killer whale. I'm sorry. I didn't eat the second tiger shark. There he is right there.
Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah, that's a cool one, right? And then there's one more. There's the black tip reef shark. And that's really cool. There was another shark that we actually used food coloring and drew little lines to make gills. It looked really cool.
Okay.
I ate that one. So you might see him in that other picture if you look really close. Maybe, who knows?
Oh, let's see. Do you see him?
Yeah, he's right there on the top right.
Oh, yeah.
We'll call that guy the gray reef shark.
There you go.
And somewhere in there, there's a plain one, and so that's lemon shark, because it's kind of yellowy in color. But
Awesome.
yeah, these are absolutely amazing looking, and I'm so proud of what my wife did with these cookies. And
Yeah.
I already ate like half of them, and Shark Week's 2 days in. But whatever.
You may just have to make some more.
We still have dough because we stopped making them after
the incidents.
Got everywhere. And it didn't just fall on the ground, like the bottle fell on the counter and just poured out. And it's like a pretty big bottle too. It's it's a good 4 inch. It's not the tiny little one, and it just poured out. It's not a dropper. It's not one drop at a time. What a mess. Moving on. Our top 10 now, right?
Yeah, we're gonna get to top 10. I do have a few more questions to throw at you before we get into that. Oh, and we have one more, just cool little tidbit of merchandise here that.
Oh, that's right.
You came across that we'll show off now.
Yeah, I saw this on Instagram, and I don't drink wine, and I know you do sometimes, and it's just not my thing. I would love to get this.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen. But man, that looks cool.
I mean, you don't have to drink wine. I think you can put anything you want in there.
Oh, it's got to be red. Or blue. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but think about it. If you made that drink in here, that would look really cool.
All right, we're going to have to re-record this tomorrow for next Shark Week. Oh, we'll just do it next Shark Week.
Okay, yes, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right, a few more trivia questions, and then we'll get into our top 10 here. So let's see, where did I leave off here? All right. There is a type of shark that can technically walk on land.
Epaulet shark.
Wow, I guess that's a common piece of knowledge for you. Okay, all right.
Man. Any avid Shark Week watcher knows the epaulet shark.
All right. This one I don't think you're going to get.
Okay.
What cleaning compound can be found in shark teeth?
Oh wow. I don't know. Bleach. That's a terrible. Oh man, I can't. Well,
it's sort of an ironic answer when you know the answer.
Toothpaste.
That pretty much counts because it's fluoride. So you're right there.
Okay.
Yep. All right, one more here. We did our oldest. No, we didn't do oldest yet. Oldest shark, like oldest living shark, living species of shark.
I believe the oldest shark is the Greenland shark, or I think sometimes it's called the sleeper shark.
Okay, I have Greenland shark.
Okay,
can be around. Estimated to be around 500 years old. So there's that. All right. It is time for the top 10.
Number 10.
Channeling your inner... you're Eric, so just need the new last name. All right, here we go. What is number 10?
Escape from 100 million BC.
That's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago. Now, this game is about time traveling. And in the game, there's a bunch of like time portals or rifts that open, and random people from different time zones are walking around, like Amelia Earhart, and there's like a futuristic ray gun, and you're trying to cooperatively put everything back into place and avoid all the monsters. So there's 3 different types of land tiles. There's jungle tiles, mountain tiles, and water tiles. And the monsters in the water tiles are all represented by little figurines that are megalodons. Now, one of the actual creatures that you can come across in the water is a megalodon, but all 4 of the standees are megalodons, and there's a card for a megalodon.
Huh.
So number 10 makes it into the Sharky scale, because even if you just encounter one creature from the water, it's going to look like a megalodon.
That's interesting that they did that. How many different monsters are there? Like, would it be too much to do the different standees?
I think that it might not be too much for the water monsters, but maybe, this jungle and mountain, and I think there's more of them.
Right.
So, yeah, it might be a little bit of a pain, but I don't know. I don't produce board games.
All right. Well, speaking of things that are not fun to encounter or look at, we've got this game Deep Vents featuring specifically the Goblin Shark, which is easily one of the most hideous things I've ever seen.
Yeah, this one's cool. And as a sharktician, it pains me to say that up until about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I don't think I ever knew this shark existed. I think I only heard about this on Shark Week and one of the Alien Shark specials. And I mean, I know a bunch more about it now. I know it's got like pink skin and it's got like kind of like slingshot jaws. I also know that my dog over here keeps making noise because she's upset that she's locked out, so we don't have to listen to her stupid feet on the wood. I'm sorry, they're not stupid feet. So I apologize for any background noise.
It's quite all right.
So the Goblin Shark. Yeah, so Goblin Shark is a very, very, I guess it's gaining popularity now. It's, you know, it hasn't gone Hollywood yet.
Okay.
But the game itself is, it's pretty cutthroat. There's, you're gaining tiles and you're putting them somewhere in your play area that has a bunch of other tiles. And each time you put a tile down, it activates all the other ones, which could harm the opponent. And there's some pattern building based on where you want to put them. And there's player elimination. So it's got a bunch of things going for it that I don't like. But it's got cool artwork and goblin sharks. So it's really tough.
Yeah.
I don't
Get
think
it out.
gameplay that much, but I love looking at the artwork.
Yeah, get it out once a year.
Yeah.
So here's a disgusting picture of a couple of, I'm assuming, deceased goblin sharks, or maybe this is what they look like when they're living. I don't know.
I couldn't find a lot of good pictures that had the artist named right there, and I don't really know how to go about getting pictures of different types of sharks and asking people. I asked Andy Brady Casagrande for the other pictures because I follow him. Oh, this dog, man. Anyway, yeah, I think this thing's dead. But
all right,
what a goblin shark looks like, and
there you go.
It's got pink skin.
So speaking of things that are deceased, the next game here is a game that was, I believe, the first game I sold. I owned and sold. Just did not get a lot of play at the time. And again, this is very early into me being into the hobby, so maybe now it would be a little bit different. But that is Smash Up. Now, this specifically is an expansion, rather, not in the base game. This is It's Your Fault. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
It's Your Fault expansion. That has sharks and I think, I don't know, werewolves or something like that, maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway, we had to include it because it has... What is it?
I said it's got sharks. What else does it need?
Well, yeah. I mean, it could just be that. But it has this card specifically... this is right on the nose here. It's called The Week of Sharks.
Right.
It doesn't get any more on the nose than that. But it has some other cool different shark abilities and minions and things like that.
Now, I do want to point out in this picture that that card right there in the middle is the Mako shark, which is like, what was it? The fifth different shark that we've mentioned so far?
I believe so, yeah. Let's take a look at it.
It's not all great whites.
Yeah. Now, what's so special about the Mako? What's his trivia
That's
fact?
my favorite shark. I think I mentioned that before, but the Mako is my favorite shark. They're the fastest shark in the ocean, fastest fish in the ocean, and they breach just like great whites do, and they can get like 15, 30 feet up in the air.
Wow.
I say 15, 30 because I read somewhere 15, and then I heard maybe on a Shark Week show 30, so like somewhere in there.
Gotcha. Yep, that's a good one. Super fast. All right. Speaking of super fast, let's get through the next few here. Next up, we have a cooperative game, I believe, or is it semi-co-op? It's Ocean Crisis co-op.
This is a kids game, and in the game you're cooperatively. You're doing a few things on the board, but the goal is to clean pollution out of the river before it gets to the ocean. When it gets to the ocean, clean all the pollution out of the ocean, and you're just trying to do this and win the game.
Okay.
Now there's an expansion that comes with the game. It's not an expansion actually. It's more of a module.
Okay.
And it's called Shark Defender, and you can play this. And this is just happening at the same time. So each turn you're gonna like roll a die, and the shark's gonna move somewhere to a specific numbered space in the ocean and eat garbage. And if the shark eats enough garbage, it dies, and you lose. So, you got to keep those oceans clean because apparently tiger sharks specifically, because they do eat garbage. But yeah, apparently sharks eat garbage and they'll die from it. And that's true. There's a lot of plastic that we got to get out of there.
Yeah. Very cool looking shark meeple here from this game as well.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
And I got to say real quick, your playmat, which is always in a lot of your pictures, but I mean, for the shark game pictures, it just looks extra phenomenal because of the water.
It's absolutely perfect for this.
Yeah. All right. Up next is another very well-known game. Well, this is a sequel to a very well-known game, but this one's very well-known as well. King of New York. Original is King of Tokyo. And who do we have here, Eric?
So this is Mega Shark from the Power Up expansion. And I believe this one and also Smash Up, Evan and Grayson mentioned, right?
Yes.
So everybody should be familiar with Mega Shark Power Up expansion from King of Tokyo. But if you're not familiar with King of Tokyo, it's a King of the Hill game with some Yahtzee-style dice rolling, and you want to be the biggest, baddest monster, but so does everybody else. And it's fun. It could be there is some player elimination. So if you go hard and you mess up, you're going to be out and you're going to be watching for a few minutes.
The thing about that is, though, it's something that you can't take it too seriously because in this game it's King of the Hill, like you said. So if you go into Tokyo or into, I forget where the one is in Manhattan, the New York one, you are going to be the focus of the attacks. Like that's it. You're in the spotlight. You're on the hill. They want you out. So you're going to get picked on.
In New York, I think there's the boroughs, and then Manhattan is where you want to be the top monster.
Right.
So as for the sharkiness scale, now this particular expansion is a shark character and a shark character board, and that's it.
Right.
But it's a playable character, so every time you play the game, you can be a shark, and you're always going to see sharks. So number 6, man.
Now, this is not the one that you had a gripe with their.
No, we'll get there.
Oh, okay, all right.
We'll get there soon.
Oh yeah, how soon? This soon?
This soon.
Rec Raiders.
So they gave it. I forget what they gave it actually, but they gave it a decent number. But I gotta point out that you got. First of all, this is a great game. I don't know. Have you played Rec Raiders?
I still have not played it. I do own it. I do own it on your recommendation, and it has not gotten played yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a dice rolling, drafting, set collection game, and you're trying to get treasures to have exhibits at a museum, and at the same time you're gaining aquarium pieces. Now the aquarium pieces the ones on the left right there happen to contain sharks, so it's almost as if you're trying to take fish out of the ocean, giant sharks, and put them in an aquarium. So that's kind of not so cool, but it doesn't say that in the game, so whatever. It's a fun game. That top shark, you can't see him, that's also a hammerhead. And
okay.
This shark in the middle spot in the aquarium, I don't know what that is. But this is a shark meeple from the mini expansion called Shark Defender. Now, if you play this game with the mini expansion, you got your sharks that may come up in the game in the aquarium, but you got the shark die that you're going to be rolling every single round.
Okay.
The shark might be moving somewhere, and if he goes somewhere, then all the other divers near there leave because they don't want to get bit by a shark. And so if you play with this mini expansion, then it's 100% part of every single round that you have to either worry about the shark or hope that you can roll a shark.
Cool.
Which puts it at number 5.
And so the cover shark Hollywood on this box cover is the hammerhead, and one of Eric's favorites as well.
And here's ABC4 Explorer now. So if you do want to follow him, that's his Instagram is ABC4 Explorer. It's Andy Casagrande, and he's got a YouTube channel also, which is great. It's got a lot of great videos from under the ocean, and that's also, I think that's youtube.com/ABC4 Explorer.
Excellent. Speaking of oceans.
I do. Hold up, real quick. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I forgot that I think this picture was actually taken by his wife, Emma Casagrande.
Oh, nice.
So, just throwing that out there.
Nice. All right, here we are in the ocean. Now,
Right,
there are some really cool-looking creatures on these cards.
Yeah. So, this is a lot of fictional artwork.
Okay.
right? Like that card right there in the middle. That shark has arms. So like, this is clearly not based here in reality.
Wait, which shark has arms?
Oh, that guy right in the middle there on the bottom.
With the big mouth?
Yeah.
Those are arms?
I don't know.
Oh,
I think so.
okay.
Some crazy stuff going on in this artwork.
Yeah, I know, for
Most
sure.
of these cards are the deep cards, right? So there's two types of cards. There's,
Okay.
I don't know, like the upper part of the ocean where the sun shines, and then the deep. And the deep cards are all unique. They're all different, and they have some really cool looking artwork. There's a lot of the cards. And so it's like this unlimited supply of like, oh, what can I get next? This giant monster, like this giant Leviathan sea creature or a kraken, or like some stupid little fish that, hides in a coral reef, which is cool. Like I'm not trying to throw some shade on Nemo, but, in a game like Oceans, I want something cool looking like this shark.
All right. Speaking of cool looking stuff, we're about to get to the top 3 here.
Oof.
Number 3 is a fantastic looking game that is actually, by board game standards, pretty old at this point. I believe it first came out in maybe like the late 70s. Not sure what the date on that exactly, but that's Survive, Escape from Atlantis.
Yeah, this is my favorite game. It's my number 1. It sometimes goes to number 2. Sorry. Pun not intended. But the top 1 and 2, this and the Tableau is the other game. Depending on how I'm feeling, they're alternate because this is a very, very cutthroat game, and I don't like cutthroat games. But I love this game. Your turns consist of 3 different things that you get to do, and they're all a little bit different. But it's not difficult. It's very easy to teach. You get to move some people, and you get to take a tile and basically sink the board, and then you get to roll some dice and possibly move a creature to eat another human.
Mm-hmm.
And so each time it's not your turn, you're invested in what's happening because somebody's going to roll those dice, and somebody could get eaten, or that whale might crash into the boat, or the squid could come over here, and it's just you're not bored when it's not your turn. You're what's going to happen.
Very tense game.
I can't say enough good things about this game. This short little block of me talking about it will never, ever do it justice. We're going to definitely have to talk about this game in depth at some point.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is a great game. It's like Eric said, cutthroat, but again, similar to King of Tokyo, like everybody's going to get eaten. You're not going to save all of your people. It's just not going to happen. So it's just a matter of who loses the least. But the cool part about this game is all these meeples have a number underneath, which are worth those points, and you only see them when you first put them out in the beginning of the game. After that, you rescue some of them, and then at the end of the game, you pick up and see, oh, I got my 3 and my 5-point person over here, and that's how you do your score. So you can never really tell who's winning this game until the very end, which is kind of cool.
On to the next one.
All right. Number 2, the Lego game. No, just kidding. Get Bit. That is indeed pretty much a Lego shark, though.
That is definitely a Lego shark. So this game is a very quick game. It's basically a race to not be last. And if you're last each round, you're playing a card. You're playing it face down. Everybody's playing one simultaneously, and you look at them, and whoever played the lowest card that round loses and doesn't get to move up anywhere and gets bit by the shark. And so you can lose legs, you can lose arms, you can lose your head, you can lose your lower torso, like that blue guy right there.
Guy's like, hey, what do you want from me? I got no legs.
And and you could play so that I think you can remove the hands and the forearm and that and really slow the game down.
Kind of like in Hangman when you would start to draw like fingers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is just silly fun. Like I said, it's really quick, right? 10, 15 minutes tops. And you can play it multiple times. And, again, we talked about toy factor. This is a box of toys, right? It's essentially Lego pieces with a shark and removable limbs.
Yeah, so, you're not going to play this game for 10 minutes and then not play with those toys afterwards. That's a big part of the game. The game's going to be over. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, that was a game. Doo-doo, and playing with the shark going around eating people. That's how it is. Be honest with yourself. You know it's true.
All right, so obviously the end is near now.
Yep.
This was, I don't know, would you say this was the easiest? Like, was this number one in your mind when we first made this list, kind of off the bat, or no?
This was my game that featured sharks most prominently.
Okay.
Immediately, I thought of Survive because that's my favorite game. So I'm not going to not think about that game.
Right.
And I was like, oh, yeah, but sharks are something in the game that happen a lot, but may have no effect on you for the entire game.
Right.
In this game, you're running from the shark. You're swimming from the shark. It's the game.
Right.
And so now number one, the number one game is let's just get into number one.
It's the granddaddy of them all. It's Jaws.
Is it Jaws the game or just Jaws?
I think it's just called Jaws.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, this is, the expression "this is blah 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 in a box" gets used a lot. But this is a really thematic game. If you love the movie like I do, you're gonna love this game. It basically takes place in 2 acts: the front of the board, and then you flip it over halfway through. And it's a one versus all game. So someone is Jaws, is the shark. The other players are the members of the crew. So you're either Hooper, Quint, or Brody. And if you play only 2 players, and one of you is going to be all 3 of those people. But essentially, this is a hidden movement as the shark player. You don't reveal where you're going until your move is done, and you just say, "Hey, I ate this many people at this beach." Meanwhile, as the crew, you're trying to use your shark locators and your binoculars and your beach closed signs to try to sort of pinpoint the shark and maybe get a couple of barrels on her like they do in the movie, which is pretty cool. And then at a certain point, when either there's 2 barrels on the shark, or I believe when the shark player eats 10 swimmers, the Act 1 is finished. And then you go to Act 2, which takes place on the Orca, on the ship. And now you've got all 3 crew members really just trying to survive.
Now, so, I gotta say, I haven't played this game. I'm really excited to play this game. I can't wait. I keep seeing it, and I want to buy it. I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. But I have seen a few videos on it. And I think it's really interesting how, based on the first act, how good Jaws does or how good the people do will determine how many cards are dealt out for the second act. And that's just... It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of thematic sense, I guess, because, if Jaws is doing better in the first act, and it's cool. And you don't see that in a lot of games. And, And I, again, haven't played it. Can't wait to play it.
That's true. And because of that, it does have a lot of replayability as well, because, you go into Act 2 and you never know how the odds are going to be stacked against one player or the other. It's a lot of fun. And it features a really good Jaws shark meeple there, which looks like just right from the poster, which is great.
That is true. So I just want to throw this out there real quick. On Instagram, I threw up a couple of the meeples from some of the games and did a poll to see which was the coolest meeple. And I got like 3 responses.
Nice.
1 for each of them. I'm not active enough on social media to have people really, really want to answer my questions.
Yep, fair enough. Usually,
there was no winner. It was a tie. One guess for each.
Oh, okay.
The third one. So it was the Ocean Crisis, Wreck Raiders, and then it was the ones from Survive, which we didn't show. It's just a shark fin. It looks real cool.
Right. All right, so we're about to swim into shore here, but before that, we've got just a couple more trivia questions for Eric. See how he does on these last few here. All right, Eric, so sharks can reproduce by either laying eggs or giving birth to live young. The discarded egg sac of a shark often floats ashore and has a special name for it. Do you know what this thing is called?
My wife calls it a mermaid's purse. So if it's that, then I owe it to her. But if it's not, I really don't have any other guesses.
Well, you better buy her something because she's correct.
All right. I have to buy her a purse with a mermaid on it.
There you go. We've also emphasized very often here so far that, most sharks are not harmful to humans. In fact, I'm asking Eric now, give or take maybe 2 points, what percentage would you say of sharks are not harmful to humans?
Not harmful?
Yeah.
There's only like 5 or 6 sharks that I know of that are actually harmful out of like 500 different species. So I'm going to say like 98%.
97. Very nice.
All right.
Very nice.
Flexing that shark knowledge muscle.
There you go. All right, a couple more here. On the same, actually, I'm going to come to that one a little bit later. We mentioned the whale shark, the biggest one, and it eats only plankton. There are two other sharks that are pretty large that also eat plankton and nothing else. Do you know what those?
Basking shark and megamouth.
Oh, that was quick. That was
quick.
quick.
I know those.
All right, last one here is a little bit different. This is kind of a matching question.
They were in that tree picture from earlier. I got yeah.
Nice. All right, so I'm going to give you 3 numbers.
Okay.
And 3 ways that people can die. And you're going to match up the number with how many people on average die from that thing each year.
Okay.
So here are the numbers. You've got, in descending order, 150 deaths per year, 50 deaths per year, and 6 deaths per year.
Okay.
And your methods are, well, one of them is shark attack. The other one is jellyfish attack. And the last one is falling coconuts.
I mean, I was going to say right off the bat that sharks got to be 6, but I can't imagine that 50 people died from being hit in the head with a coconut on average per year. What was the other one? Jellyfish attacks?
Yeah.
That's got to be 150. 50 people for coconuts? I mean, sharks got to be 6. It maybe 50 attacks worldwide, but like deaths, it can't be more than.
Yeah. Sharks are the 6. And again, that's a question to again put into perspective how kind of over inflated sometimes those things are.
So for real, like 50 people a year die from getting hit in the head with a coconut?
No, 150 people die a year from getting hit in the head with coconuts. I don't know where these people live.
What? But they all live on like the same island, just like an island of morons.
It's like a Far Side cartoon.
Oh my god, that's crazy! 150 people a year.
Yeah. But that aside, even being in the ocean, you've got deadlier chances from a jellyfish than you do from a shark. So.
That is true.
Watch out for the jellyfish. They are nasty.
And the undertow. Watch out for that undertow.
Oh, yeah. All right, folks. If you survived this far, congratulations. You did not get eaten by any sharks. We do want to thank you for sticking with us this long. And also a reminder to leave some comments on this video if you want to tell us about your favorite shark or shark-themed game, but also on all the other videos in the board game Summer Block Party, where we have the 7 themes of summer. Check those out. Leave the comments so that on August 18th, we can shout you out, talk about what you said, and have a live chat with you all.
Yeah, I definitely, I'm going to be checking the comments section very frequently throughout Shark Week to see if anybody wants to say anything, because this is something that's really interesting to me, sharks in games, and I want to see what kind of games I can get that I never heard of or didn't think of that also have sharks in them.
Right.
So I really want to hear from people. Now, also, before we go, I just want to throw this out there that if you have that shark lover in your family or in your life and you want to get them a gift, you can name a shark or you can track a shark. There's bracelets you can get, and all the money that you're going to pay is like $50. I've seen a few ads on Instagram for maybe like $50. You can get a bracelet that's made out of whatever, and it allows you to track a shark. So you can use like an app and see where the shark that, has to do with your bracelet is in the world.
Nice.
Or you can name a shark for, and all this money, it's all donations. So it just goes to shark research. So you can name a shark and they'll catch a shark, put a tag on it, give them a name and be like, hey, this is, the dorsal fin or whatever. They'll send you a picture. Really cool stuff. And it's all for a good cause. And definitely consider that. If you got a shark lover, this is not a bad gift idea. They're going to love it.
Yeah, for sure. That's great advice.
Yeah.
All right, I want to thank Eric once again. I want to thank Evan and Grayson one more time for sending us that video.
Yeah.
And thanks to anyone who provided some photos for us to use. And that's pretty much it, Eric. Any last words?
Happy Shark Week. Watch it all. Download Discovery Plus because there's more shark stuff on it. And remember, you get like a free 7-day thing. So it's gonna take 7 days to watch. 7 days of, I think it's two episodes, so 2 hours a day.
Okay.
So it's 14 hours of stuff that you have a week to watch.
There you go. And you can always save it and watch it next week or the week after that. It doesn't have to end just because Shark Week is over.
Well, no, the free trial ends in a week.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, spend money.
Yay.
Yeah. Sharks are beautiful creatures. They're not mindless killing machines. So have a happy Shark Week, everybody. And never, ever eat shark fin soup.